Hello and welcome back to the Microlearning Institute. This short tutorial looks at question 2 delta from the DIP IFR exam paper from June 2013. And this question relates to IAS 21 foreign currency. So delta has taken on some loan finance. Now this loan finance is a contractual obligation to pay out cash, so consequently it is a financial liability. And we're told in the question that this financial liability is carried at its amortized cost. So firstly, we must prepare the amortization schedule for the financial liability. And again, the amortization schedule, this is the structure of our template for the amortization schedule. Now note that the amortization schedule is prepared in euros, even though the functional currency of delta is dollars. So this is the amortization schedule in euros. So the initial recognition of the financial liability on the 1st of April 2012, and again we know that a financial liability is initially recognized at fair value less transaction costs. And again the fair value is $50 million and there was 1 million in costs. So the initial recognition is 45 million euros. For year end in the 31st of the 3rd 2013, we accrue interest at the effective interest rate, and the effective interest rate we're told is 10%. So the interest charge that goes to the P&L is 4.9 million euros. The cash flow, we're told we pay at the year end a cash amount of 4 million to offset the liability. So at year end we have a liability in euros in relation to this financial liability of the opening liability of 49 million plus 4.9 million in interest less 4 million in the cash paid. So our closing liability is 49.9 million euros. Now, of course, as the presentation currency of delta is dollars, we must now convert each of those transactions into their dollar equivalent. So let's have a look at this conversion. So the initial recognition in euros was $49 million. And at that date, we're told in the question that the exchange rate from euro to dollars was 1.4. So consequently, this initial recognition of 49 million euros liability translated to a liability of $68.6 million. The interest that accrued, we calculated from our amortization schedule in the year, was $4.9 million. Now that interest is deemed to have accrued over the year, so we translate that at the average rate for the year, which we're told in the question is 1.42. So the interest translates to $6.958 million. Now the cash payment we made at year end of $4 million, the transaction or the translation rate from euro to dollars at year end was 1.45. So consequently the cash payment translates to a cash payment of $5.8 million. So our dollar closing amount is equal to the dollar opening amount of 68.6 plus the interest in dollars of 6.958 less the cash paid in dollars of 5.8. So our dollar closing amount is 69.758, and this is what we would anticipate our dollar closing amount to be. However, when we translate the closing liability in euros, which we've already calculated from the amortization schedule at 49.9, when we translate that at the closing rate, which again we're told is 1.45, that translates to 72.355. So here you see, even though we'd anticipated that our closing dollar liability should have been 69.758, our closing dollar liability actually emerged to being 75.355. So consequently, we have a foreign exchange loss. Our liability is greater than what we had anticipated, and we need to recognize an additional foreign exchange loss to P&L of the difference between the 72,355 and the 69,758, which is $2.597 million in foreign exchange loss to P&L. Thank you for watching this short tutorial from the Microlearning Institute in relation to delta from the DIP IFR paper from June 2013.